me. I think I met most of you at the door. But if you don't know me, I'm the founder of the Green Room here. This has been a project of passion and love for me. It was always a creation for you, for the community, for nonprofits, for our artists, and for art and live entertainment in our community. So this is part of that vision becoming a reality and offering our space and our venue to highlight local nonprofits in our community so that we can learn more about what they do, how they impact our local community and our residents and our land, and things that are important to us as human beings in El Dorado County and in California and on this earth. So with that, I will welcome Elena DeLacy, my friend, who I've known for years, through the arts community and through music. And I think you became part of ARC during that time frame. So tell us.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you so much for having me and for inviting ARC into this community to share what we do. I'll kind of give you a brief background on who I am and how I've been involved with ARC over the years. I actually started my journey and my career in environmental biology at American River Conservancy in 2003. And I started as an intern. I was going to college at that time and working on a project to restore and enhance habitat for the California red-legged frog, which, if you didn't know, we have two populations of that endangered species in El Dorado County. And so I had the honor of being able to work on a project helping that species of frog. And that was in 2003, and eventually I became hired on as a permanent employee, or a regular employee, not an intern, and kind of did this. I was our stewardship director for a while. I did conservation project management, and eventually became our executive director back in 2019. So I'm, been in that role for about 6 years. It still feels like I'm learning new things every day, but I think that's the nature of working at a nonprofit.
Yep.
Perhaps.
So we've been here for 4.5 years, and you've played on our stage, and I feel like I've watched your journey at ARC, traipsing around on trails and rivers and mountains and streams and whatnot. So that's been really cool to watch your journey with ARC and your growth with them. So ARC does a lot of things.
Yes.
One thing that I would love to know more about, we'll table for now. I know you've been working on a really big project recently, and you're really proud that you've reached a certain accreditation for the ARC. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we are a land trust, and for those of you who don't know what a land trust is basically an organization, nonprofit organization that works with willing sellers of land to protect that land. And land trusts exist for protecting habitat, wildlife habitat. They can exist for protecting agricultural lands. There's also community land trusts that protect land for the communities to establish low-income housing or affordable housing in communities. And so there's a lot of reasons why land trusts exist. And the reason why ARC was formed was to first and foremost protect the land that is along the rivers in our communities, the American River and the Cosumnes River. And we've been around for 35 years, and I've always, about 15, 20 years ago, when I first started, there was little kind of whispers of this thing called land trust accreditation. And everybody was kind of like, well, what is this? Is it worth it? Should we do it? And in the land trust community, there's about 4,000 land trusts in the United States. And to date, I think only about 1,100 have achieved this accreditation status. And we just received news last week that we received accreditation. And so it's really exciting.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's a huge thing that you've worked on, and it means a lot for the organization to be accredited, to be trusted.
Yeah, and it's basically like maybe some of you who work in different private industries know about different kinds of accreditations, but for the land trust accreditation process, it's pretty rigorous. They review, it's like an audit of all of our past transactions. It's an audit of our financials. It's looking at our governance structure and how we steward lands. And so it really means that we've met all these high bars, these standards of excellence. And so it's just a way for us to demonstrate to our supporters and our community, and then also funders, that we know what we're doing. We're going to be here forever, and you can trust us to protect the land. So yeah, it's a big deal.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to add with regards to your mission and what you're working on right now? Like, what's next?
Sure. So our mission is to ensure healthy ecosystems in the Upper American River and the Upper Cosumnes River watersheds. And the way we do that is through land conservation, land stewardship, and environmental education. And so those are kind of our three pillars. And I think we have some staff here that work in those program areas. So if you're staff, please raise your hand. Yeah, awesome. Yep. We've got Autumn there. She's our forest restoration project manager, and Melissa there. She's our development director. Nick, he's our education manager, and then Marshall there is our land acquisition specialist. So yeah, give them a big hand.
Thank
you. We've also got some board members here, so raise your hand if you're a board member. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming out. I don't think we could do everything that we do without our fantastic board and our staff, as well as all of our volunteers. So one of the projects, you asked what I'm really excited about. One of the projects that I'm really excited to be a part of is our El Dorado Ranch project. And this is actually, many of you may not know, but land acquisition, we've protected over 30,000 acres in the last 35 years. But land projects take a long time to complete from start to finish. It can be multiple years, it can be even multiple decades. The South Fork American River Trail is a good example of that. We have trails that go from Coloma all the way down to El Dorado Hills on Salmon Falls Road. That project, from beginning to end, took more than 20 years to acquire the land, to build the trails, to build the partnerships with funders and agencies. We're kind of trying to do the same thing on the Cosumnes River, and El Dorado Ranch represents a big part of that. And there's not a lot of river access, public land access along the Cosumnes River. It's pretty, there's not a lot of opportunities for people to get out and enjoy it and recreate. And so we want to change that. And so for the last 12 years, we've been working on acquiring a 7,000 acre ranch that was once slated for housing developments. And it's called El Dorado, we call it El Dorado Ranch. It's been called many things.
Can you share where it's
so
located
it is right along 49, if you can imagine in your head a map of the county. I know you all have this map in your head of the county. But the Cosumnes River basically runs east to west, right? And then Highway 49 at that point runs north-south. And if you know where the town of El Dorado is, or Poor Reds, anybody been to Poor Reds? Okay. And then there's Plymouth down in Amador County. Well, El Dorado Ranch is kind of a long rectangular section of land just to the west of Highway 49. And it runs north-south, kind of like parallel to Highway 49. And it goes along the Cosumnes River for maybe about 3 miles. But most of it is this big, large tract of oak woodland, and it has lots of tributary streams and habitat that is a part of the Cosumnes River watershed. And to date, we have been successful at protecting about 4,300 acres of it. So we're about halfway there, and we're working on our final phase of that acquisition, which is the last 3,000 acres. And we've raised about half of the $14 million that we need to acquire it. And we're also working on, at the same time, putting in a public access trailhead along Highway 49. So that is a really big deal for us right now. We're actually working on. We have run into some roadblocks with some permitting issues on Highway 49 for a driveway and trailhead there. So we're actually trying to shift gears, and we'll be. We need to acquire a little tiny 30-acre parcel to put a trailhead in there successfully, and so you will be hearing about that probably very soon. We need to raise about $150,000 to get that
That
little piece.
So how do you
Yeah.
go about raising funds? I know that there have been, in the past couple of years, Wakamatsu Farm has been used for live events and live music events and mini festivals and things like along those lines.
Yeah.
What's your biggest fundraiser with ARC? How do you anticipate accomplishing that goal?
Yeah.
And how can we help?
Yeah, I would say, 80% of our, and it varies from year to year, but about 75 to 80% of our revenue comes from grants, competitive grants that we apply for and use for different projects. The rest of that is extremely important. And actually, I think last year, maybe it was closer to 60% was from grants and 40% from donations and contributions from the community. So it's really important, I think. There isn't necessarily one event that I can point to that says, oh, this is our biggest fundraiser for the year. It's continuous engagement with the community. But I can say that this upcoming year, we have a couple of ways people can get involved and contribute. And it also ties in with the arts. So we have our Concerts for a Cause series at Wakamatsu Farm, which raises funds for our Resilience Reserve, which helps us with land management costs. We manage 15,000 acres. Imagine if you had to manage 15,000 acres. It's a lot. So that we have 3 concerts for that in the summertime. I think those will be on our website soon. And then we also have coming up in September 21st, Melissa? All right, Ripe Area, which is, we had an event last year, and we're gonna do this again and focus on native plants, the art of native plants. And it's not a fundraiser necessarily, any funds received from it will help with management of the farm and such, but it's really a way for people to connect with our mission and what we do, and also enjoy and learn about California native plants at the same time.
Yeah, that seems to be a big mission and a big part of ARC is educating all avenues. I kind of see the footprint throughout the county with the South Fork of the American River, with Wakamatsu Farm and preserving the history there. You have a huge footprint and doing a lot of good things. Seems to me that the best thing we can do is be aware of your organization and know what you're working towards.
Yeah.
And like you said, being here and being present and
yeah. I think one of the things I always tell people, and I tell our board this and our staff, but it's really important if you know about something and it means a lot to you, share it with people. Maybe people don't know about American River Conservancy and what we do. And share your enthusiasm for what we do with them. You never know who will benefit from that knowledge and maybe enjoy going out on a trail. And who knows? Maybe they'd be a donor. And every little connection is important. And I think that's what I like to imagine the community as this kind of little interconnected web. And we're very, very much like, we're part of nature in that way because nobody's separate. Like we're all interconnected. And
you're
so
getting all woo-woo on us.
I'm getting really woo-woo right now, but it's important, I think, to kind of always keep that in mind. We're reflections of the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. We've covered your mission. We've covered what's most important and what you're most proud of. We've covered what you're looking forward to. Is there anything else we need to cover? Does anyone have any questions for Elena that we can answer for you?
Yeah.
It's a lot of big stuff. Like the overview is they help take care of the things that are important in the environment to our county.
Yeah.
The South Fork of the American River is important. Our land being preserved for history is extremely important.
Yeah.
Um,
One thing I did want to mention is that we mentioned conservation project. I wanted to maybe talk a little bit about each of our program areas. So El Dorado Ranch is a big deal for us in conservation, but we also have stewardship, which we manage 15,000 acres. We also partner with agencies to do restoration projects. We have the American River Headwaters Project up in Placer County, the headwaters of the Middle Fork American River, where for the past 10 years, we've been doing forest restoration and fuels reduction and wildfire resiliency work. And we're looking to bring more of that work to the lower watershed in El Dorado County. And so we did get a grant to do that in the South Fork American River watershed as well. So that's really exciting. We're also doing meadow restoration projects up at Leak Springs Meadow at the headwaters of the North Fork Cosumnes River. And then also just kind of touching on our education program, we have, Nature Camp, which registration just opened last week, and I think we're already half full. So if you haven't registered your kids or your grandkids for Nature Camp, now is the time to do it.
and where is that? And when is
Nature Camp we have different sessions in June and July, depending on the grade level, but I think it's for kindergarten through ninth graders. And then if they're older kids, they can also apply to be a counselor. But that's a really great program. All my daughters have been through Nature Camp since they were 4. And then we also have our California Naturalist program coming up. That starts in March, and I believe we're still accepting registration. Nick? Yes? All right, cool. Yeah. There's only a few spots left. So that is a really unique program. We've been doing that for 10 years. We partner with the UC system, UC ANR. It's kind of like, if you've heard of Master Gardeners, it's like that, but for natural history. So you become a certified naturalist and you learn all about California's natural history, but with a focus on our region, our Sierra Nevada region.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You do so much. How many people are on the board?
Oh gosh. I think we have 11 on the board at last count.
And how many employees?
We have 14 staff currently.
You do a lot with so little. I'm impressed.
Thanks. Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add?
I think that's it.
That's it?
But I welcome questions from the audience. Please don't be shy. I know you won't. Oh, man. Sorry, Fletcher.
Oh, no. That sounds like a sad story.
Rosie, or Roosevelt, the boa, he passed away, gosh, I think it was 10 years ago.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We loved Rosie. He was the best Rosie boa ever. You could put him in your like if you were wearing a hoodie sweatshirt with a pocket. He really liked to hang out there.
This is a boa constrictor.
It was a little Rosie boa. They're a native snake in California. It was very cute.
Cool.
But we do have I think the longest lived tiger salamander living in the nature center. I think George is about 18 years old. Yeah, so, yeah. Melinda.
The otters.
How are the otters? Mm-hmm. In general, I don't know. I mean, I think they're doing pretty well. I see otter scat a lot on the Cosumnes River. There's a pretty good population of otters there. I know they exist on the South Fork American River, but we also have people have seen otters in the pond at Wakamatsu Farm, which is really interesting that they'll come up that far out of the river. But
I have questions.
yeah, I love otters. Actually, I just went to Morro Bay and saw sea otters, and it was amazing. But yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm like, how do they get from the river to the pond? Exactly.
I mean, that's a really good question. I'm imagining that they probably come up the streams and are looking for fish and other food. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not an otter expert. I'm sorry.
Do we have any other questions? We have a lot of animal questions.
I like animal questions.
I know. So I did hand out some forms at the door. If you didn't get one, I have some extras. Most of your questions should have been answered through our conversation here. If you put that in this little glass dealie at the front of the stage, we'll do a drawing for a door prize, 2 general admission tickets to the green room for a future event. So that's our gift. If you haven't checked with ARC at the front, they have a $10 raffle ticket, and they're raffling off a raft trip for 6.
Yeah.
Ride the South Fork.
Pretty good
So
deal. $10.
also a little fundraiser for ARC. So grab your tickets. Melissa, Elena, when are you doing that drawing?
Tonight do you have to be present to win? We haven't talked about this. No, you don't have to be present to win as long as we have your contact information.
So get your tickies before you leave, and then we'll contact you, and you can do the drawing after the event, and
Sure.
and everyone get their opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
You can get like 10 for 100.
Yeah. It's a good deal. It all goes to a good cause, even if you don't win. I did want to do a shameless plug.
Please do.
For my band. We're playing here. We're playing here on Sunday from 5 to 7. Our band is called Hither and Dion, and we're a folk, old-time, traditional music trio.
Sunday Fun Day matinee shows.
If you want to see some fiddle music with some banjo, maybe an upright bass, you got...
Very talented, too, by the way, so don't miss it. Shameless plug. Tickets are at clubgreenroom.com. And we have another event tomorrow that is specifically regarding the green room and the venue and what our future looks like. So we have plans or not. So we'll see. Tomorrow, 5 to 7, if you want to learn more about that, it's kind of this format, a little bit of a mixer. And we want to continue doing events like this. Next month, our next Connections and Cocktails, we're featuring the Gold Rush, and I'm going to mess up there, 1034, is it? Thank you. I'm mixing up the numbers. But next month, we're doing another Connections and Cocktails on March 19th, featuring another nonprofit organization, and then we'll have another one the month after that. So please keep an eye out and keep supporting our nonprofit organizations in El Dorado County. Keep your ears to the ground on what's going on and how we can help all of our worthy causes here. Kind of feel like that little Saturday Night Live skit, the little radio talk real close.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Thank you guys for coming out on Wednesday night. Appreciate you.
I just wanted to do one more plug and thank you to Jen, because I think the green room it's a gem. And I just remember after Cosmic Cafe closed, and a lot of those spaces for live music just didn't exist in our town. And so I'm so grateful to you for everything that you've done in our community. And I think it's revived Main Street in a way that I didn't think could happen again. And it happened just at the right time for a lot of people. So I just want to give you big 2 thumbs up.
Thank you.
I think, yeah.
We also, shameless plug, we'll just keep going. We have an incubator fund with Arts and Culture El Dorado. So we have the ability to take nonprofit donations or take donations through a nonprofit organization that does benefit artists. It directly benefits what we do on stage. It helps us to sponsor local Main Street events where they have closures and need live music. So we're working really diligently to fund those types of projects and more, not only through our nonprofit, but through other creative ways. So that's what we're doing tomorrow evening is kind of strategizing and talking ideas. And we'll keep talking, and we'll keep talking about supporting nonprofits and good causes and arts and music and our environment and everything else that's important to us.
Thank you.
So thank you. Mix and mingle.